Hello there, today we're recapping the War Dogs movie that released 2016, so stay tuned until the end. Albania. In January 2008, David Packouz is beaten after being pulled out of a trunk by two masked guys. A gun is pointed at David's face by one of the men. The type of pistol is identified by David's voice, who also adds that he is a global arms dealer. In the videos, we witness American soldiers posing with their equipment and guns. According to David, he sees goods worth thousands of dollars while other people see a hero serving his country. David thinks that this is the true motivation behind war: financial gain. Anyone who asserts differently is complicit and is expected to remain silent. The scene then goes to Miami, Florida in 2005. David lives with his partners and works as a massage therapist for $75 per hour. In his spare time, David tries to sell bedclothes to a nursing home, but he soon discovers that no one gives a shit about elderly people. David runs across an old buddy named Ephraim DeVerley at a funeral. They stay around after and try to buy some marijuana from nearby drug dealers. They accept $300 from Ephraim in exchange for some marijuana, but they keep the cash and ignore him while displaying a gun to get him to leave. Ephraim goes to his car and opens the trunk to get a bigger gun, which he fires into the air to scare the drug dealers away. Ephraim and David talk about his new line of work, gun running. David is given instructions on how to make money off the fight against terrorism. At first, David is reluctant to become involved, but when he finds out as is expecting, he realizes he needs to earn more money than he is now making. She accepts his fabrication that he and Ephraim are selling bedsheets to the American soldiers. Ralph Slutsky provides funds for David and Ephraim as they launch their own company, A Incorporated, after becoming knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the arms trade and going over government contracts. The lads quickly secure a contract to sell weaponry to the U.S. Department of Defense. They encounter a problem when they ship Berettas to Jordan while not being aware that Italian-made weapons cannot be delivered. During a dinner gathering with his and her friends, Ephraim interrupts David. Iz overhears their chat when they are outdoors and discovers the truth about what David is up to, which enrages her. David and Ephraim go to Jordan to meet with smugglers who will aid them in getting the guns back. They meet Marlboro, who offers to drive the men to their location. When the men awaken in Fallujah after stopping for gas, Marlboro is nowhere to be found. When Ephraim enters the station, he discovers a dead body and discovers Marlboro siphoning gas. David receives a call from Iz, who, despite the fact that the lying bothered her, seems to forgive David for telling her a lie. Later, the lads notice individuals driving vans and pointing guns at them as they approach. Even though they have an empty tank, David and Ephraim attempt to escape. As they travel, Marlboro fills the truck's tank as he chases after the group. When a U.S. helicopter lands and forces the mercenaries to cease firing, the lads are saved. To deliver the weapons, the lads go to Captain Santos. The boys are given their reward after he thanks them for passing through the triangle of death. The guys quickly start earning more money and gaining more contracts. They begin employing individuals to work for A, and they begin conducting business with Henry Gerard, who is reputed to have a legendary track record of closing significant military contracts. A baby girl named Ella is also welcomed by David and Iz. Ephraim, however, has an increasing megalomania, even dismissing one man on the spot for merely correcting him. The Afghan deal, which would enable David and Ephraim to give the Afghan army a variety of weaponry and ammunition, is then accomplished by David and Ephraim. The fact that the contract came from China presents a challenge because Chinese ammunition is prohibited by the U.S. Army's embargo on the Chinese military industry. The ammunition and guns are nonetheless wrapped and sent out by Ephraim. When David and Ephraim settle their dispute over the payment, the guys have a disagreement with their company. The two men from the movie's introduction are used by Ephraim to kidnap David and abuse him after David calls him out on taking advantage of others. David dissolves his collaboration with Ephraim, especially after Ephraim refuses to reimburse David and Ralph for thousands of dollars owing to both of them. David decides to just resume his career as a massage therapist. A reporter calling about an investigation into the Afghan deal contacts David. He is conscious of his predicament. He enters an elevator and rides down to where he finds Ephraim. Ephraim acknowledges that David is able to see through his attempts to be sympathetic and to regard him as a friend. David strikes Ephraim in the face. They are met by a large group of FBI officers when they descend the stairs, and the two are then taken into custody. Ralph was complicit with the FBI, according to David's voiceover, yet he is also detained. But the packaging worker, whom Ephraim neglected to pay, exposed them, and that is what finally killed them. Fraud and conspiracy charges were brought against both men. David was kept under house arrest for 7 months, which allowed him to remain with his and Ella, while Ephraim received a 4-year prison sentence. David and Henry have a meeting in the final scene. He starts asking a lot of questions about their transactions until Henry grabs a case full of cash and offers David the money in exchange for no more questions. Armed forces buy firearms from David Packouz and Ephraim Deverley using government contracts. Due to Ephraim's unethical business dealings, their partnership ends, but they are both killed by a packaging worker that Ephraim never paid. Ephraim received a 4-year sentence, while David received a 7-month house arrest. In the end, David receives a handsome payment from Henry Gerard in exchange for his silence over their joint venture. Anyway, that's all for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to press the like button if you did, as well as subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to support us, and stay tuned for more.